Hey guys, I am Pixel Dan, and today I am very excited to be taking a look at the brand new Biker Mice from Mars action figures from Nacelle Toys. Man, it feels like it was only a matter of time, right? I'm actually kind of surprised it took all the way until now for the Biker Mice to come back, but Nacelle is doing it as Biker Mice from Mars is part of the new Nacelle-verse. And this is the first wave of action figures that we're getting. So we're going to be taking a look today at Vinnie, the mouse with a cool attitude, Throttle, leader of the Biker Mice, and Modo, the cyborg mouse. And I love the little blurb because it tells you their accessories, but very importantly, they all say, and hot dog. Like a hot dog. Hot dog is like the pizza for the Biker Mice. See where we're going here? Everything in the 90s had to be anthropomorphic animal characters, but some of them were pretty awesome and were remembered fondly. And I would put Biker Mice in that category. So I'm pretty excited to take a look at these. Now these come in full window boxes, and the boxes are great because they really do evoke that feeling of the vintage card backs. The Biker Mice from Mars logo is up here, but I love the orange and the blue. Also, you gotta love how the Nacelle logo down here in the corner resembles the Galoob logo, which is the company that made the original Biker Mice from Mars figures. Very cool stuff. Now, if you rotate these boxes to the side, you've got some great animation style artwork of the characters. These almost look like VHS tape boxes. Obviously, they're a little bigger than that, but that's what these remind me of. And then the back is the same on all the boxes, where it gives you this great little kind of cross-sell of those same pieces of animation. But underneath that, we do get a bio for each of the characters. So you can see we've got for Vinnie, we've got for Throttle, and we've got for Modo, so we've got different text on the back of each of these boxes. Very cool looking packaging. I like this quite a bit. It's pretty different, I feel like, that a lot of figures come in these days. You know, it's not a blister card, but it's also a different style box, like the full box with the window there showing the figures. I don't know, pretty nice stuff. But of course, we've got to open these up to get a closer look at the figures within. I have a couple of the vintage figures, so we'll be doing some comparisons as well. Let's dive right in, shall we? All right, we've got our Biker Mice action figures opened up out of the packaging. Let's start taking a look at them, and I think it's important to start with the scale of these guys, because as you can see, all three figures are in different heights to one another, which is pretty cool. Bringing in the tape measure here, you can see that we've got quite a bit of difference here. So we've got Vinnie standing at about 6.5 inches tall. Throttle goes about all the way up to 7 inches tall. And then we've got the incredibly tall Modo over here, who I would say the head is 7.5 inches. The antenna push almost up to 8 inches tall. So these are some pretty big mice. And I do want to do a scale comparison to other action figures. And I think one of the things people are going to want to see these with are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles action figures. This just seems like the right thing to compare their size to. So I'm going to bring in a few different ones here, of course. So Leonardo here is from the NECA line. And then I'll bring Raphael here from the Super 7 Ultimates line. And we'll stand all of these guys alongside each other just so you can see the scale difference. The Biker Mice are big boys. These are really tall action figures compared to some of the others. I mean, the Super 7 Ultimates figures are usually in this 7-inch scale, but the Turtles do stand shorter at 6 inches tall. And I guess that's an important thing to say. The Turtles are always scaled shorter than human characters, and I guess the Biker Mice, well, they are more human height, so maybe these are a bit in scale with one another, but it does look a little strange. They do look quite a bit taller than your Ninja Turtles. That may not matter at all. I just thought the Ninja Turtles would be something people would want to see these compared to. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at these guys individually now. We'll go ahead and start off with Throttle, the leader of the biker mice. One thing that I will say is that these figures feel really, really nice in hand. The articulation is pretty great on here as well. So let me run through that with you guys real quick so you know what to expect. Those heads are ball jointed, and as you can see, the heads are removable from those ball joints because we've got some interchangeable heads that I'll be showing you here in just a bit. It's a bit easy to pop them off the ball joints, but I wouldn't consider it loose. Like, it does snap on and off, so that's pretty nice. Otherwise, the head can look left and right, can roll all the way around. You got those shoulders that can go outwards, forwards, backwards. You got the swivel at the bicep. You've got a double joint at the elbow. You got a swivel and a hinge on the wrist here. The wrist is like ball jointed, and you'll be able to remove the hands from those pegs as well for some interchangeable hands. You can see we got the ab crunch up here. It's not really a crunch. It's like the ball joint up there in the middle of the torso, so the upper body rolls all the way around. We can also swivel at the waist there. You can see he does have like these extra belt pieces hanging down, but these are pliable plastic, which is really nice. You can see the belt is a separate piece because it does have the side piece strapped to his leg here, but it all kind of fluctuates and moves around, which is really nice because you can see he does have those ball-like joints at the hips there. The legs can go outwards, a little bit of a hindrance over here, but not too much because of the holster. Forwards, backwards movement. You got swivels there at the thighs as well. You got double joints at the knees. You got swivels at the boots, and then the ankles can move forwards, backwards, and they can rock side to side. All of the articulation feels pretty good on here. None of it is overly tight, but also none of it is like loose. I wouldn't say any of it is like loose to where it's floppy or anything. Some of it moves really easy, like the knees I think move really easy, but it doesn't seem to be causing any problems with the figure standing. So all that articulation functions really well on here. And then the tail, of course, is also ball jointed. In fact, you can pop the tails out of the socket if you want to, but it's just ball jointed so it can go side to side, it can roll around. The tails aren't like a bendy wire. They're just kind of molded this way. You can see they're pliable, but they don't hold their shape because there's no wire on the inside of them. But being able to move them around is a nice touch. So I think the articulation, the overall design of these are really well done. You know, we've seen Nacelle do a couple different things with their new releases of these old properties so far. Like, for example, when we took a look at the Sectars, those almost felt like they were just the vintage figures brought back. They're not a whole lot different from the way the vintage figures move and the way they look. The biker mice, on the other hand, definitely feel like a modern action figure update of a classic property. So really well done here overall. I love the design too. I think the design is really great. Look at that biker mice tattoo over there on his shoulder. Love the earring hanging down. Love those rad glasses there with the kind of little design. Of course, our little red antenna sticking up. Paint looks real good, real clean on this guy. I like him quite a bit. I mentioned that all of these figures come with a ton of accessories, and like, seriously, look at this. Look at all the stuff that this figure comes with here. So first of all, I mentioned the interchangeable heads and showed you how that works. So they all come with like a standard face with just kind of like a normal look with the mouth closed. But then with Throttle, we also get more of like a happy face there, you know, where they got the mouth open. And of course, we've got helmeted heads. And the helmeted heads are really cool because they got these translucent blast shields in the front there, protecting their faces. Really cool stuff. So it's very easy to swap these on, as I showed you earlier. You can just pop the head right off the ball joint. You can snap the new one on in its place, and that will change the overall look and the personality, the feel of our biker mice figures. I love this particular look right here. But of course, the helmeted looks are always cool as well, which are going to be good for motorcycles whenever that happens. Don't worry, the motorcycles are coming. They didn't come out in wave 1, but we will be getting bikes for these guys. So helmets, definitely a good thing to include with these figures. So we've got a couple of interchangeable hands here as well. You can see right now he's got gripping hands. We've also got closed fists, so if you want to swap on closed fists. And then we've got kind of the more relaxed hands. Those are real easy to swap on. Like I showed you just a little bit ago, you can just pull them off the peg there. We can add on the new one just by pressing it on that peg, and then we can swap those so that you can change the looks of the figures, which is very cool. Of course, those gripping hands are going to work the best for the various accessories that these figures come with. So let me go ahead and swap back to our gripping hand here. So all of the biker mice come with this little pistol blaster here. It's like red and purple and yellow. Very cool looking here. And the gripping hands do a good job of holding onto that. Now I will say, Throttle does have that holstered gun on his side that I showed you earlier. This is all sculpted in though. This is non-removable. Bit of a bummer. I do wish this was removable because there's nowhere to actually holster this other pistol that he has, but he does hold onto it quite nicely. In addition to that, we've got this crazy weapon here. So this thing, you can see it's all molded in gunmetal, but it's some sort of a disc launcher type weapon. It actually comes with extra discs as well. Interesting thing about this, I can't seem to get this to work. Oh, that's the best I've gotten it so far. Oh my gosh. Hold on, maybe I actually loosen this up. Yes! I can't even tell you, like, I was playing with this so much before we were recording, and I was like pressing this plunger as hard as I could, and it wasn't shooting off. I just loosened it up, I guess. Oh, I loosened it up. I'm glad it's working. I am glad it's working. So that's pretty cool. You got the extra little discs here, and of course, nice little action feature type weapon if you want that. So it just has a handle on the bottom there, and you can get the figure to hold on to that just like so. So there we go, some fun action feature type weapons. And of course, all of the biker mice are going to come with hot dogs, because I guess the hot dogs are like the pizza for the biker mice, if you know what I'm saying. So there you go, you can have your biker mice ready to chow down on some hot dogs after a hard day of riding bikes and fighting baddies. All right, so that brings us over here to Vinnie, another great looking figure. Again, I love the look of these guys. They do a good job of capturing the look of these characters from the animation here. Good clean paint, which is really cool. He's got like this cybernetic faceplate thing I always thought was really cool on this particular figure, like the little knee pads there. Really fun stuff. Articulation, obviously, built the same. Very similar build. He was a little bit smaller than Throttle, but still built much the same way. And he's got his own slew of accessories as well. Of course, just like with Throttle, we've got all the same interchangeable hands. We've got the hot dog accessory. We've got the blaster accessory that we can put into his hands. It's the same blaster. And we got a couple fun head sculpts for this guy as well. Again, same thing where we've got one head sculpt that's happier, which has got some great personality. Also, he's like a white mouse or rat mouse, right? Because they're biker mice. So he's got the red eyes. I love that, the beady red eyes. And then there's his helmeted head, which is also very nice with that very silver helmet with the red stripes on there. And again, very easy to swap these on and off. There's the helmeted look, which is very, very nice. And of course, we got this one here. I love these, like, the heads with the personality, I think are really great. And then his other weapons here, he's got like this crowbar accessory, but this thing is kind of funny because they added like this handle on the bottom, which I guess is where you can hold it. So there we go. We got him with his crowbar, but then he's also got his little action feature style weapon in the form of the jaws of life. Look at that. So you got the little clamp claw there, and you can just move this little piece on the back. So it's got a handle on the bottom, so he can hold onto that to complete his look. But yeah, these are so much fun. And then that brings us over here to Modo. Man, this is a tall biker mice. His legs are so tall. Look at how long his legs are. Very big, beefy figure. So he's our cyborg mouse. So he's got the one cybernetic arm, the very robotic arm over here. which is pretty cool looking. Again, you got the red eye, he's got the eye patch. He's just a great looking character. And again, the colors are striking, they're vibrant, nice and clean. Love the earrings on the big ear there. And for his accessories, he's got those same interchangeable hands. Of course, he's got robotic hands for the one side, but then for his different heads there, like he's got the one, I love this, again, great personality there, like got the smirk going on, and then we've got his own unique helmeted head there as well. Really cool stuff. So we'll go and swap those on so you can take a look at him there. There he is with his helmeted head. Very cool. I love the way they did the blast shields in the front. I think that's awesome. And then we got that smirk. Look at that smirk. That is so incredibly cool. And of course, he comes with that same pistol as well. He comes with his own hot dog so he can party with the rest of his boys. But then he's also got this very cool looking laser weapon there. It is like molded in this very shiny bronze and silver colored plastic, which is very cool. So completing the look of Modo. These are just great. Like, I don't know. I love how well these turned out as far as like how clean and colorful and vibrant and fun they look. Like these guys look as if they jumped straight out of the animation, which is a perfect thing for a toy line like this. All right, guys. It's comparison time! I actually do have a few of the vintage Biker Mice from Mars action figures that were originally released by Galoob Toys. So here's our brand new Throttle from Nacelle standing alongside his vintage action figure counterpart. Pretty awesome looking at these two side by side, I've got to say. And we got to do helmeted comparison time too, right? So obviously swappable head on the new one. The vintage ones had these giant heads. I always loved how the antenna pushed in on the figures. They were like spring loaded because that's how you fit the helmet on over their heads. Big, giant, oversized helmets to go over the heads, but still really fun accessories. Pretty crazy looking at these two side by side. And then we've got Vinnie standing alongside his vintage action figure counterpart. Here's where you can see some differences between the coloration of the vintage toys and the animation that I think that the new figures are going for. That happens sometimes where the animation didn't quite match the action figures and vice versa. So that's definitely what's going on here. And of course, we got to do helmeted head comparison time as well. Here's a big, giant, oversized red helmet for vintage Vinnie. And then for Modo, here's the deal. I actually don't have the vintage Modo action figure, but what I do have is the vintage Bendum figure of Modo. So I still thought that would be fun to just to show that off in here. Look at that. Really cool. So there you go, my friends. There is a look at the brand new Biker Mice from Mars action figures from Nacelle Toys. These are just so much fun. I actually was very impressed with these, and immediately upon opening these from the box, I was like having so much fun just playing with them and posing them around. Like I said in the beginning, I'm actually surprised it took as long as it did for us to get new Biker Mice from Mars action figures, but I'm so glad that we finally got them. I think Nacelle did a great job with these, and you know, this is one of what? I think this is the third or fourth different toy line that Nacelle has released at this point. And I think that this is probably their best yet, in my personal opinion. You can really tell that they're doing some good stuff over there. And I'm very excited to see more for Biker Mice. Obviously, we've got the bikes coming, but I know there's more figures coming out as well. So pretty cool stuff. If you're a fan, I think you'll dig these. These are a lot of fun. I do want to give a very special thanks to the folks over in Nacelle who did send these over a little bit early for the purposes of this review, but these are shipping right now. So if you pre-order them, you might already have them in hand, or you should be able to order them somewhere online that is carrying them. So happy hunting, my friends, and until next time.